Hey, imontheedge in my seat here, back again with another brand new video. So today we are going to be taking a huge departure from the Yakuza series and actually playing another game. It's been a long time coming, but yeah, here we are. So today I'll be no damaging all the boss fights in No More Heroes. Now for this first guy, this guy is called Death Metal, and the strategy here is pretty simple. He's the first boss, so he's not all that hard, though he can be a little intimidating just because of his just massive cleaver there. So pretty much, No More Heroes combat is, I'd say, definitely a lot simpler than like most of the Yakuza games I've played. I don't know, I will say though, like I am playing the Switch version, but I have played this game before on the Wii, and I don't know. But anyways, before I get into like the differences there, I guess I'll just talk about the combat. So, at least on the Switch version, pretty much have your light and your low and high attacks, which while on the Wii you would pretty much like lift your you would pretty much just lift the Wiimote like low and high to switch between the attacks, and like A would be your attack button, you know. So that was pretty intuitive, and like I haven't tried the motion controls on Switch just because the controller isn't as intuitive. Because on the Wii, like it's a really simple controller, and the game was designed around that. You know, all you have is like your A button, like your B button, and they pretty much gave you two different attacks from the way you did like high or low, the way you pretty much like held the controller. It was a really intuitive system, but like here, like I don't know, like the Switch controllers, like I like the Switch controller. I do not like using it in the same way I use like the Wiimote and Nunchuck. I don't like disconnecting it from like the little controller thing you insert it in. It just feels really weird and like weightless. I don't know, at least like the Wiimote and Nunchuck had like the cord connecting them. But I don't know, like, and Switch controller has like really tiny buttons, which is good when I'm using it for like a controller, but like when I'm using it like just kind of the two things like freehand, it just feels off. And for like No More Heroes, like I don't know, pressing those like little tiny buttons to do my combos and then kind of just shaking the controller, I think I might just get a little distracted and just, I don't know, it's not for me. Like if I want to play No More Heroes with motion controls, I definitely play the Wii version. However, the normal control setup here, like, you know, it doesn't exactly have the same charm as like the motion control Wii. It is really good still. Like, I mean, it is a little more consistent because you can actually decide like, between your high and low attacks while like moving the Wiimote. Which, I mean, on the Wii, I don't think it was all that finicky. Like, it worked pretty well. But also my dark step attacks, I think, like, are a little like more consistent here, and that might just be because this game's running at 60 FPS. There might be a bigger window for doing that, though sadly my Elgato does not record 60 FPS, and I kind of thought it would because like when I was recording the PSP Yakuza games, the Kuruhyo, I think I've been pronouncing that wrong the entire time, which I don't know if I ever do a Kuruhyo 2, I'll try to pronounce it correct that time. But so yeah, this game's combat system, so you pretty much have your low and high attacks. So your low attacks are a little slower but deal more damage, your high attacks come out quicker but deal a little less damage, and then you have your melee attacks, which usually just come in after you deal enough damage with like your light sword. Like, I mean, with normal enemies you can like do a melee attack to initiate like a wrestling move, but with boss fights that doesn't really work most of the time, unless like when you're hitting them and they're like blocking your attacks, but you can still hit them. That's when you can like do a melee attack to kind of put them in a stun state. Like, it's weird because most of the time, like pretty much, so these boss fights have a thing where they'll pretty much just block all your attacks, and the only time you have to like attack them is after they do an attack, like right there. But then they'll just like deflect your attack after a certain point when they've like had enough of you. But sometimes when you're hitting them over and over, they'll, instead of like knocking you back, they'll just block it, but you can keep hitting them. So if they don't stagger you, but they're blocking you, do a melee attack, because then that'll put them in that stun state right there where you can pretty much do a wrestling move on them. Like most of the time, if you just do like your beam attacks, like you know, that'll happen eventually, but sometimes you can initiate it yourself just by pressing them, just by doing a melee attack. So that's control setup, like, I mean, it's a little weird, like, it's not as intuitive as, say, like, just having one button for attack and one button for, like, your melee attacks. But I think it's, like, takes a little getting used to, but, like, I got used to it pretty quickly. But, yeah, so with that given, like, so for the first boss fight, I did not explain my strategy at all. So, pretty much for the first fight, like, you know, he has the massive cleaver, and pretty much what you do is pretty much you let him do a combo, and, oh, yeah. When you're locked onto an enemy, like you don't have a block button, but as long as you're locked onto an enemy and you aren't attacking, you will block all their attacks except for the glowy attacks they do. Sometimes they'll like glow this kind of like bright white yellow when they're about to do an attack, and that attack cannot be blocked. You have to dodge that attack. So pretty much, yeah, most boss fights will have like attacks which, you know, you can block pretty easily there just by locking onto them, and then they'll have attacks which you'll actually have to dodge or react to, you know, yada yada. But so anyways, for the first boss fight, he doesn't really have many attacks like that. In fact, I don't even think he has any attacks like that. So pretty much what you do is just kind of go up to him, he does a little combo, and then you hold the left stick to the left. And then, like, that'll pretty much just initiate, like, pretty much the dark step, where you pretty much just dodge, everything kind of goes black, and then you go into slow-mo, and that's when you can do a bunch of combos all at once. Like, you know, it lets you deal a little more damage than usual when you're exploiting boss fights, and it's really cool. However, it is a little finicky, because, I don't know, okay, so I'm playing on Bitter, which is the hardest difficulty in this game, but you have to play on Mild first in order to unlock that. So I played on Mild, and what I realized is the dark step is a lot easier to do on Mild, because most of the time you can pretty much, I think you can do like every single like one of your dark step attacks with the left stick, which is like the stick you move with. However, on Bitter that changes a bit. Like for the most part, you can still use the left stick to initiate some pretty easy dark steps. Like that's what they call it. Like when you do a little like dodge to the left and everything goes black, that's called a dark step. And it's like one of your most useful skills in the game. And yeah, like on Bitter you can still use the left stick for most enemies in boss fights, but some enemies you actually have to time it with the right stick. And the thing is, like, the right stick is your normal dodge. So if you mess up like the dark step timing, you'll just do a normal dodge, and you know that works fine for most situations. I don't really remember any time it like screwed me over. But, you know, I really do want to do that dark step. You know, learning the timings can be a little harder than just, you know, holding the left stick while you're being attacked, because I'll just do it automatically. But yeah, I mean, for the first guy, hold it to the left, and then when his clones pop up, you have to do it to the right instead. You have to hold the left stick to the right to initiate that attack, and then after that, you kind of just go to town. And well, to be fair, most of the time when I do my dark step attack, I go with the low attacks, because, well, not only do they deal more damage, they also you're attacking faster, so, you know, it's cool now. So anyways, like, Dr.Peace, not much to him. He kind of shoots his gun. You kind of wait for him to, like, finish shooting his gun, and then you attack him. And, like, I don't know, in a certain combo, you could do a dark step, but I don't know, I didn't do it. But yeah, not much to him, just kind of block his gun attacks and then strike afterwards. To be fair, these boss fights can be, like, pretty simple. Just kind of wait for them to do their attack and then attack afterwards. But then again, that has more to do with just the combat, like, being, you know, pretty simple in general. Like, you know, like, it's all pretty, like, automated. However, so anyways, Dr.Peace, you know, like, an okay fight. Like, you know, like, it's okay. Oh yeah, but with the clones in the first fight with Death Metal, like, when he gets, like, the two clones, those two clones will attack you, but the original boss fight, like the actual boss fight, will not attack you. So you can pretty much feel free to like wail on the clones, because the original guy will not interrupt you. So pretty much you have to just take out the clones first, and then once after that, you know, just kind of go back to the original boss fight and just keep attacking him, like, you know, when you do the dark step and all that. And with Dr.Peace, not much to say. And if you notice, there came a part where like he shot me in a cutscene, but I didn't take any damage. That was just part of like the cinematic, because I don't know, this game likes to enforce that Travis is a little out of his league. That, you know, he's kind of like this like otaku loser who's like facing off against all these like assassins, and he kind of gets his ass handed to him a lot of the time when he tries to look cool. I mean, like, look what he's wearing though, like, you know, pretty swag and all, but like, man, come on. Anyways, here's Shinobu, and she is probably the second hardest fight in the game, which is definitely a massive difficulty tweak after like two pretty easy boss fights. And the reason that she just dodges out of most of your attacks. You know, she'll do an attack, you'll attack her, you know, like boom, boom, boom. I mean, there I got lucky, but then she starts dodging, and then at a certain point when she starts dodging, she might just cancel out of her dodge into an attack. So you always got to be on the lookout, you know, like, try to get as many hits as possible while you can. But there's going to come a certain point where you just got to get the dodge out of it. Look at that, look, she's just dodging all the time, and she just has certain attacks that come out a little quick, and it's just like, she is just insanely troublesome to deal with, because I don't know, sometimes, I don't know, as you can see here, I'm using a green lightsaber, but you don't get this lightsaber at the beginning of the game. You're stuck with something called the Bloodberry, and that kind of reminds me of, I don't know, one of the only people who have actually gone and like no damage the boss fights in No More Heroes 1. His name on his channel is called Adrian VG, and he pretty much no damaged all the boss fights in No More Heroes 1 on the Wii, and he only used the Bloodberry, which is like your beginning weapon. And he didn't upgrade himself at all. Like, he got some mandatory health upgrades, but he did not upgrade his damage at all. He didn't get any moves. Like, the only other move he got was like this one move he can learn where you do like a jumping slashing kick. No, not a kick. You do like a jumping slash thing, which is pretty useful for quite a few situations. And I'm doing it in this fight right now. Whenever like Shinobu here like goes into like a big attack, like one where she glows yellow and all that, she has quite a bit of delay. So I pretty much do a jumping slash, which won't interrupt her, and then I'll like do my normal combos just for that tiny bit of extra damage. So yeah, so like, but the original guy, Adrian VG, like, is just super hardcore. Like, he didn't get any upgrades. However, I did get upgrades. Like, pretty much for all these fights, except for, I believe, the second, first, and then the final fight, I have my attack pretty much, like, almost completely upgraded. I think I was just one upgrade away from having completely, like, upgraded attack. So, yeah, I'm definitely, like, not playing by his rule set. And I'm also using, like, the final, like, end game, like, lightsaber, because, you know, to play on, like, bitter here, the hardest difficulty, you pretty much have to, it has to be New Game Plus. Like, you can't play it any other way. But the way he did it was just by, you know, beating the game normally without upgrading himself at all, and then kind of going into like the New Game Plus like file without any upgrades. But I went in with my upgrades. I mean, someone already did it with the Bloodberry, so I might as well do it with like this cool green lightsaber. And also, well, I mean, the boss fights could be tricky, so I kind of wanted every advantage I can get, especially when the boss fights start to get really long at the end. To be fair, when I say the boss fights get really long, it's two notable exceptions, and you know, we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, look at that. Oh wait, I didn't get enough time to do the jumping slash there, but yeah, the jumping slash and then kind of going to a combo, extremely useful technique. Oh yeah, with Shinobu here, I really try to not do any melee attacks because like sometimes she can like counter me. Like, I mean, if she gets stunned while I'm doing the lightsaber thing, you know, that's cool and all, but I'm just not gonna bother. And also, I did not find a good time to do jumping slash and then go into a combo. Really useful, but yeah. Shinobu's just insanely tricky. You know, sometimes you'll deal 2 hits, sometimes you'll deal 1 hit and she starts dodging, or sometimes you'll deal like, you know, 4 hits and then like the first one connects, the second 2 like she dodges, but the fourth one she like hits. Like, it's like, you know, it can be pretty inconsistent. She's just insanely tough. I do like the fight, but like, man, it is definitely a huge change after most of the pretty easy guys you fight. And like Destroyman, I really like this fight, but it's not as hard as Shinobu. So yeah, like this guy, like all his attacks have pretty like noticeable tells. Like there was one attack which I thought would be problematic, but I actually found a way to deal with him. Like, I don't know, I really did not want this guy to go into corners, but I found a way to deal with him anyways when he went into a corner. So yeah, like I mean, most of the attacks have these like really long windups. Oh wait, speaking of long ass windups, okay, so one thing that bothers me about this game is just like, okay, so I'm not using the Bloodberry, but the Bloodberry is probably the best weapon in the game for combos. Like, I mean, the other weapons might have, like, you know, better damage, you know, like, their, like, big super attacks might kill more enemies, but, like, the Bloodberry's combos are just, like, the most consistent, because, like, all the other ones just get a little too flashy. Like, you have your first lightsaber, which, like, your main combo has, like, a melee attack, like, thrown in there, and it just slows you down. Enemies just interrupt it. So it's like, man, not working out for me. And then like you have the other big weapon where it's like the one with like 3 lightsabers in one, and that one's like combos don't reach across the room enough, so it's like, man, come on. But to be fair, I think one, oh look at that, I interrupted the boss fight's like big super attack just by doing the melee attack, because you see I was hitting him, but he was just blocking me. He wasn't throwing me away, so you know, good stuff there. But yeah, like, okay, so like the third lightsaber, the one was just like a bunch of lightsabers into one. Like, I mean, I try, I just did not like using it, even though like its big super attack just completely demolishes like an entire group of enemies. But I'm doing boss fights here, so that doesn't really matter. But yeah, to be fair, I think a big reason for that is just because I didn't upgrade my combos. Because like, there's like a gym in this game where you can pretty much upgrade your power, your health, and like your combos. So, but however, like I upgraded my combos like, you know, a couple times, but then I stopped doing it. But that's because I was using the Bloodberry on mild, like pretty much for all the fights except the last one. And I just like, oh, you can't upgrade your combos anymore. However, the combo thing pretty much differs from weapon to weapon. So like every time you get a new weapon, you should head back to the gym to upgrade your combos. And well, the reason I say you gotta upgrade your combos is that before you do upgrade your combos, you can only do like 4 hits and then you kind of just stand around kind of like mopily. But there is a way to get around that just by switching between high and low attacks to kind of keep your combo going on for, you know, infinity. To be fair, like boss fights will, you know, break out of your combo like soon enough. But, you know, you don't want to be stuck like a deer in the headlights once like you finish like your low or high combo chain. So, you know, having these longer combos definitely gives you a huge advantage because they don't. So yeah, every time I had to get a new weapon, I probably should have done that and they would have been more useful. Like here, I definitely have all my combos upgraded, but I still... Oh, here's the attack that's difficult. He's in a corner. You have to dodge the laser. I don't have space to dodge it. What do I do? I dodge straight through it with the iframes. And I do this pretty much almost every time. And also, like, one way... Like, you know when Destroyman here? Yeah, this guy's called Destroyman. He's pretty cool. I don't know, one way to like knock this guy to the ground isn't just to like hit those like light panel things I hit. It's also... Oh, look, here we go. The laser comes out again. And this time it's even worse. Look at that. The lock-on breaks. I'm about to... No, dodge there. Very nice. So, yeah, anyways, so when the Destroyman's up in the air and all that, another way to knock him down besides the light panel thing is to pretty much hit his, like, energy ball back at him. But the timing is weird as hell. Like, it's just extremely fast. So I'm just not going to bother with that. I kind of went for the light panels. And destroying the light panels actually gave me a huge advantage here, because this box becomes super useful soon enough. So anyways, I was going on about something about the lightsabers or whatever. Yeah, so this lightsaber here, so you know, like at the high and low attacks all have, like, you know, eight hits like each, something like that. However, like the last 4 hits are like stupidly flashy. Like you saw, like when I was just hitting the boss fight and he was blocking me and I was just doing all these like stupid flips. That dude could like probably interrupt me and hit me during that. And some boss fights do, which is insanely infuriating. Okay, so anyways, the box becomes super useful here. Because, you know, hitting those light switches like might have taken more time, but now I have this box which just blocks this dude's like cock laser here. But yeah, like this weapon's like combos just become too flashy for their own good. You know, like in the beginning before I extended my combos at the gym, like that's pretty much what you had. It just went to the flashy stuff immediately. So like this weapon was so unwieldy. Look at all those flips. That was completely unnecessary. Like stop doing that. Like the Bloodberries combos are just more consistent, like a little less flashy. Like, you know, they're just. Like, I mean, you know, I mean, it's not green, but, like, you know, it's more consistent. But, you know, for here, like, I mean, no one else has no damage this game, entire boss fight to those green lightsabers. So I thought, hey, why not do it? You know, be the first to do it. You know, kind of like, I mean, for most games, as long as, like, it's not too broken, I like to approach it with, like, all the tools, like, I can approach it with, just because, well, the game can give me those tools. Though, to be fair, for some future No More Heroes games, I'm gonna, like, limit myself a little bit, because I know Travis Strikes Again, if you, like level up too much, the game becomes, like, absurdly easy. So I'm definitely not gonna, like, level myself up too hard in that one. I might even do level 1. But, you know, that's getting ahead of myself. So, yeah, here I just kind of wanted to definitely, like, show off that I'm definitely in New Game Plus. Like, I have this, like, outfit which looks ridiculous and also costs an insane amount of money. Like, I mean, like, this whole conjuncture here costs, like, $300,000. So there's that. Anyways, that's Destroyman. He's done. And here we have Holly Summers, which is definitely one of the shorter fights in conjunction with most of the boss fights in this game. But that's just because I got lucky. This fight is insanely tricky.
Let's see you get out of this predicament.
No prob. You'll see.
Uh-huh. A bud that will never blossom. A sad truth. Good night, my sweet 7.
Oh, crap!
Oh yeah, I know
Nice
damage
trap.
that, by the way.
I like your style. Maybe I can steal a kiss before I steal your life.
We'll see about that.
Cringe. So anyway, the actual fight starts now. Like, I mean, if you're wondering how, like, me getting blown up with grenades in a cutscene, like, equates to no damage, well, look at my health bar there. I mean, it's still blue. Oh yeah, so with my health, I actually did not upgrade it fully, just because I like that light blue color. Like, I did upgrade it quite a bit, but then it kind of came to a certain point where it's like, I'm trying to do no damage. Like, I don't want my health bar to be that big where, like, it takes forever to boss fights to kill me. So now, Holly Summers. So this boss fight here, like, she's actually quite easy, and the only reason she's difficult is because of her one super attack where she just launches a ton of missiles at you. That one attack is infuriating, but besides that, she's extremely easy. Like, pretty much what you want to do is just be insanely close to her, just so she does these, like, predictable, like, shovel attacks, because they're super easy to dark step. You pretty much just, like, hold your left sticks to the right, and, like, when she does sand, like, you'll just dodge it and have, like, a full combo there. And sometimes when she throws her little knives out, like, you can dodge that too. And sometimes even when she does the shovel thing, you dodge that too, but it's not exactly one ideal. It's this attack that's just super, like, look at that, the missile is extremely close. Sometimes, like, the way they, like, gang up on you is just weird. Like, it's just the hit detection, it's an incredibly, like, dangerous attack, and there comes a point where she repeats it like 5 times in a row. It was insanely frustrating. And also, this map has these little holes here that once you fall into them, you want to immediately just spam whatever button stick you have to, like, move. So you just gotta, this is the part where she just spams that attack like a bajillion times. And sometimes when I'm in the hole and the missiles hit me, like the missiles will actually hit me and damage me while I'm trying to get out of the hole. But I guess, like, you know, I hit the exact point where my iframes kicked in when I was getting out of the hole, so the missiles didn't hit me. Like, you know, I've heard some people say that, you know, getting to the holes could be strategic to, like, avoid the missiles, but that isn't foolproof. Sometimes when you go into, like, those little holes, they will actually hit you, so, you know, don't exactly depend on that. But anyways, like, having all these holes now becomes beneficial for me because she's going to spend the rest of this fight running between them just so she can cover them up again, which gives me openings to kill her. So anyways, she also has this attack where she throws a little, you know, little mine down there, just jumps on it. However, I just dodge, and then she just lands exactly in front of me so I can go for a combo. And look at that, you know, pocket sand, but I can dodge the pocket sand. Let's go. And the great thing is that, you know, it's pretty flexible, that mine attack. I mean, left, right. I mean, you know, if you don't have any space to go to the right, she'll probably go to the left. So there's that. And also, I'm just really thankful that when I'm attacking her and she goes into a stun state, she doesn't, like, you know, exit out of it a lot of the times. You know, sometimes, like, I mean, I might get so focused on attacking the boss fight that when they're stunned, I attack them too much and then they just stop being stunned. That is, like, that's really infuriating because those wrestling moves deal a ton of damage. You just missed out on, like, a big jackpot of damage. And, you know, when these boss fights start to get really long, you might start to realize that maybe the reason they're so long is because you missed a lot of those wrestling moves, you know. However, I mean, there's also some boss fights where you do the wrestling moves so much that, like, you know, you start to realize that doesn't really affect much. And, you know, do you see how many times I attacked her while she was in the stun state? Dude, like, she was just, like, going off. She just kept going. But yeah, that was really lucky. So yeah, that was a fast fight just because, like, the holes, like, kept going here. Now here we're gonna have a really difficult fight, and really I think I just beat it from sheer luck. This took me a ton of attempts, and there really isn't much to do. Like, I'm including this beginning portion here because it's actually really important to my strategy here. There's really no way to explain it here. Take a look. So here I'm going to go to the bathroom to exploit a glitch where, like, the boss fight's health bar will go down by half, and then from there I can actually do a move which will, like, kind of help the fight go down easier. Here, take a look. So yeah, thankfully I was able to glitch into, like, the boss fight's end cutscene just because the normal fight by itself is near impossible. No, oh yeah, I hate when the game does this, where you immediately start the game and the boss fight just throws an attack at you. Like, what is that? That's such garbage. So yeah, this guy, like, I mean, a lot of people say this fight's really easy, but I had a lot more trouble, like, with it than it was worth. But yeah, so if you'll notice, like, at the beginning of every fight, there'll be, like, this neat little, like, you know, TV thing, like, oh, like, your TV glitched out effect. That only happens when you died, because these boss fights definitely took me a lot more than just the first try. However, like, the great thing about it is that I get to include that little TV effect every time I'm transitioning from fights. You know, that's pretty cool. You know, it's kind of like a big boom, boom, boom. So yeah, it's a cool little transitional thing from this fight. But anyway, so yeah, this guy, like, I mean, isn't that hard, but he kind of tends to mess with you because he has this spinny attack, which is just annoying to deal with and run away from, because this game's lock-on can be annoying at points, because, you know, sometimes you'll be running around fast around, but if you get too close to him, your speed slows down, and sometimes when you want to run away from a boss fight but you're locked onto him and you just kind of slow down because you're close to him, like, that just kind of screws you over. But thankfully in this fight I got super lucky and he never really, like, did that spinning attack, which is, like, my biggest issue with him, because sometimes, you know, I'll be trying to get in close on him because he, oh, look at this, this is so annoying. He just turns the entire screen upside down. However, it is also really useful for me because, like, once you're upside down, he's open to attack. And also, like, while he's, like, doing his little taunt animation where he's invincible, you can do the, like, the jumping slash attacks while he's doing his little, like, welcome to the show, and then, like, he turns upside down. So not only did you deal, like, a full combo to him when it goes upside down, he also dealt that slash attack beforehand. Really useful stuff. The annoying thing about being upside down, though, is that all, like, your inputs are reversed. So, you know, like, going into an enemy, like, you know, you'll be going away from the enemy. If you're trying to go away from the enemy, you know, you'll be going into them. And, you know, that's not too bad until he pulls out an attack that you can't block, because then it gets a little troublesome trying to get away from it, because, you know, your inputs are reversed. It's just hard to, like, you know, see. And then sometimes, you know, your camera inputs are inversed, so sometimes you'll be trying to move the camera to a more visible location, but you might just make it even more, like, weird and clouded, and it's just like the screen's upside down. It's hard to make sense of anything. And when he does that stupid spinning attack when you're upside down, that is the worst. I am so glad that he never did it in like this attempt. Extreme luck, but I am extremely grateful for it. But yeah, I don't know, like, I mean, most of this time here, like the great thing about doing a combo when he first starts being upside down is that, like, you know, once you're done with the combo, like, you know, it won't really take like much time to like actually get back into the fight. Anyways, here he's gonna do a big QTE thing.
Welcome to the nightmare. Assistance! Now look carefully. Assistance! It's showtime!
So anyways, back to the fight. He's gonna keep doing that. Look at that. He immediately is doing it again. However, when he's like about to like do that whole big thing, you can get a couple of jumping slashes in there to deal like some damage. But here we go. We're gonna do it again. However, I'm just gonna skip the cutscene this time, just because like we already saw the cutscene, so there's no need to mess around with that. Let's get back into that fight. And he was gonna turn the screen upside down because you know, attack him a bit. You know, the great thing about when he like attacks me while upside down is that like sometimes he would do like that like little immediate attack, and I was able to dodge it. And like look at that, boom, 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 very nice. And there, he's blocking me. I can go for the melee attack. Let's go. So yeah, like with this like little basic combo he does, you can dark step the second hit of his combo or the third hit. See, like there, the second hit didn't go slow-mo, so it kind of screwed up, but he hit me the third time and I was able to do that. So yeah, the dark step attack, like, I mean, for most fights it works, but you know, sometimes like it doesn't. But to be fair, when I say sometimes, I mean entirely the final boss. Like, the final boss has a weird ass glitch where the dark step just simply will not work, and the only way to like make it like work is to pretty much just exit that fight and go to like a previous mission and like do the dark step there. It is so annoying because I spent so much time on that fight, and that fight alone is like, I should stop talking about the final boss fight because we're not even there yet, and that fight is long, so I can save anything I want to say about that fight when we get there. Anyways, here's another QT, which I'm just gonna mash my way out of.
Welcome to the nightmare.
I like how sometimes voice clips will just like layer on top of each other. Like, okay. Anyways, here is the third boss. Oh yeah, I didn't say the name of the boss fight of the fifth or fourth one. So the fifth boss fight, well, the fifth boss was Holly Summers, but I'm saying like number 5, rank 5 boss fight. That guy was called Letz Shake, and yeah, I definitely shaked him out of his like routine by breaking his AI patterns to kind of like skip the fight because the fight is just too hard normally. And then we have the rank 4 fight where his name was Harvey, Moiseiwitsch, I forget. His extremely long name, man. I'm not gonna say all that. But anyways, here is the third boss fight, Speedbuster, who really is not a boss fight. It's more like just an extended level. So it's pretty much just like this witch who has this huge, massive cannon which just shoots that entire laser. So you pretty much just have to go through this like war zone here, find these little safe spots from her laser, and like, you know, it's not all that hard. But to be fair, massive props to like Adrian VG here, because like without him, I would have not realized that going down this left side here is entirely possible. Because, you know, like it would have been a whole different puzzle trying to figure this out on my own. But even this gets hard because like there's certain points where it's such a close call whether you get hit by the laser or not, because sometimes you have to like break. Oh, this is extremely annoying because trying to like get into this like area here without the enemies hitting you, and you know, without being outside of that laser, you know, I mean, you could be patient and like wait it out, but you know, then that laser will hit you. And the worst part about that laser thing though is that like, okay, if you have battery in like your like lightsaber thing here, like you can block the laser and, you know, not get hit by it, but you're still taking damage though while you're blocking the laser. Like, you know, you'll be blocking the laser, but your health was slowly going down. So, you know, if you get hit by the laser, it's like, it's not a no damage. You're taking damage, so you have to never ever get hit by that laser at no point in the fight. But you know, it would have been cool though. You know, if you had battery in your sword, that could have been one way to block the laser. But you know, oh well. I was able to no damage this fight, but still, you know, would have been cool though. You know, wouldn't, like, you know, if you were able to like smash the button like fast enough, you could have actually like did a little no damage thing while like blocking the laser. But to be fair, that's not exactly like good for like a speed run, because you know laser throws you way back. Even when it doesn't hit you and you're still blocking, it's still pushing you way back. So you know. I mean, all things considered, you don't exactly want to get hit by a laser. You know, like in clutch moments, you know, I mean, if you can block the laser, if you have the battery to do it, you know, I just think it'd be cool. So, you know, man, there's that, but there really is not much to this fight. It's just practically a level. But yeah, yo, massive props to Adrian VG though, like for this like strat here, because like, I mean, I would have been a little lost without it. And yeah, I mean, to be fair, he's like the only real person I like looked at for any like difficult boss fights to deal with. But to be fair, most of the time, like, I mean, because these fights are like pretty simple, because the combat's like not that like complicated. Oh, this part's extremely hard. You have to like hit the door exactly at this moment, enter that room before the laser hits you. Like, oh man, that is such a clutch moment. But you know, I did it. However, I go back to that room and like, you know, clip the game a little bit there, just because I need to have like as much time as possible to run to the next area. I'm not like taking any chances here, because you know, like taking chances is what gets me hit. So you know, like I don't really know how far these areas are, because like I'm pretty sure the guy who made the no damage video, Adrian like VG there, like actually like kind of routed this out. But me, I'm just kind of like just going and just hoping for a room to come in here. And I'm doing the jumping slash here because that door, like the red and blue doors have like more health. So if you try to do a normal combo, it'll take much longer than like with the white doors. The white doors just get hit with like one heavy attack. And coming up, we're gonna have some enemies which could be a little hard to deal with. Like, but so these normal enemies, you know, since I'm doing the boss fights, you don't get to deal with them much. But you know, this boss fight decided to include some of them. These lightsaber guys are really annoying because like they'll like charge up and attack while you're doing a combo, and you won't be able to block them. And here I try to do a charge attack because like these charge attacks are super useful. Like most of the weaker enemies, they'll just cut their heads off immediately. But these guys actually have quite a bit of health, so it takes a couple strikes. Which, you know, if they're on their own, that'll help. However, you know, like I was trying to do something different than what Adrian VG did, because what he did, he just like did this jumping slash, knocks him to the ground, and then pretty much just allows you to insta kill them. I didn't think that would work, but hey, I just kind of just went back and relied on that because like, why not? But anyway, so I was talking about something else before talking about this. What was it? So the combat was simple. No, I guess I forgot for now. Oh yeah, his strategy. So I mean, most of the time, like, yeah, I would follow like his strategies to some extent, but for some boss fights, I just kind of brute forced it, just because like, well, there really isn't much to it. And then once I'm done brute forcing the boss fight and like look back at what he did, I realized he did something a lot more efficient than like what I did. Even though like I have like full upgrades and like, you know, the big like super sword, like some of my boss fights actually take longer than his. However, I actually do save some time on certain boss fights. Like his Shinobu attempt took a long ass time, but to be fair, he was using the beginning weapon, and it's Shinobu. I completely understand. Like, I was actually able to like save like two minutes on that, you know, pretty nice. And for my like for the second fight, well, yeah, pretty much for the last 3 fights, I save a bit of time. So, you know, that's pretty nice. Anyways, here is Bad Girl. This fight takes 10 minutes, and it's because like some of her attacks, they just like extend the fight so much. But she's an awesome fight. Like, I'm not sure if I say she's my favorite, but yeah, she was dope. And most people say she's really hard, but I actually just beat her on my second attempt, just because like she has some really like solid openings to like attack her. So that attack, she'll like glow yellow, so you know you don't want to like dodge, you don't want to like dark step that attack, even though I'm pretty sure it is possible. And here she'll have a little combo here where you can use the left stick to dodge to the right. And in the beginning, she just does that, but then like once she enters like the second phase of the fight, in a sense, she'll like extend that combo, but you can still just hold right and like they'll like dark step the attack for a nice quick combo. However, like, what was I gonna say? The only real dangerous thing about that combo here is that it depletes your battery a lot. Oh yeah, this battery here. So if you'll notice, sometimes in the fight, I'll just like jerk off like the lightsaber thing to recharge. And believe me, there is an upgrade which like makes you have infinite battery, but I never got it because I think it makes the fights a little less stressful. I mean, to be fair, it's not exactly that I want stress, it's just more I think it's a neat thing to keep in mind, you know, like, it's like an energy source, you know what I mean? Like, you'll be doing your attacks, and like, you know, like, if you have infinite battery, I just think that'd be a little bit too easy. But to be fair, for some later fights, especially like the final one, I completely understand why one would get it, but I didn't, just because I did not feel the need to. But yeah, like, Bad Girl, there really isn't much to say. I mean, she has some pretty like solid attacks. They all like telegraph pretty well, and like the attacks which you can dodge pretty like consistently. I mean, she's a really well designed fight. But yeah, she's not all that hard. She actually takes hits like a champ. Like, I mean, it's all good. Like there, like when she does that little like charge up attack, I attack her. She does like a retaliation attack, and then like I abuse her like while she's like still retaliating. So it's just like, it's a quick fight. Oh, no, it's not quick at all. It's 10 minutes. And like there's like two attacks, which I believe are the reason why this fight takes so long. Like, yeah, she has a lot of health, but if we were just attacking her normally, it's this attack where like the gimps will come out on the conveyor belt and she just shoot the gimps at you. So pretty much now that becomes a whole different issue, because now you gotta kill the gimps. And they don't take too long, but she'll shoot like 1, 2, 3 at you like at a time. And she does this multiple times. It's not like she does this once for like a funny little phase. Like she goes back to this attack quite regularly. So, you know, like, I mean, like you'll be dealing with her and then telling, oh, it's the gimp, we gotta kill him now. And the scary thing about the gimps is they attack super fast. Like, if you notice there, like sometimes when I attack them, like you'll go into a little parry thing where like I have to like shake the right stick a lot. And no, let's talk about those sticks. You know, on the Switch version of the game, instead of like, I mean, there is like an option for motion controls to swing around, but I was using like a controller, like, I mean, the little plug-in thing, so I didn't want to really swing that around. It would have been awkward. And like swinging the controller around without like the controller would have been awkward. Like, I mean, I talked about that a little bit, but yeah, I'm just using like the, you know, the setup which has the little sticks there. So yeah, like, but here's the thing. So once you go into a little parry animation thing, like, you know, the reason that happens is these guys attack so fast. So the scary thing about them attacking so fast is that, like, if you like attack them a little like too soon, a little too far away, and you're just kind of stuck there, they'll just hit you immediately and boom, get chipped by like get chip damage, and they have to restart the entire fight over again. This is like a 10-minute fight, so you know restarting this fight's gonna be a little annoying. Like, Bad Girls Help really isn't all that difficult, but you know sometimes there might be like circumstances where, you know, something might catch you off guard and it's like, oh man. To be fair, I mean, I beat this on my second try, so all things considered, I did not find this that difficult. I had more trouble with the magician guy. I guess just because like my play style just like is more conformed to like dealing with like people like Bad Girl here. But yeah, so like, I mean, the thing with the gimps is that you either like, I mean, if you're a little too close to them and like you try to attack, like sometimes they'll attack before you and they'll like get you. And to be fair, like in this fight particularly, the gimps aren't that hard, but in like some of the assassination missions you can do for cash, like there's this one where like you have to like fight like 20, like 30 of these gimps like all at once. And you know, like when you have that huge group, I start to realize just how fast they attack. And well, to be fair, one thing I realized that on Bitter they attack way faster. So, you know, like, I mean, the difficulty here actually like changes quite a few things. So it's like, you know, besides the whole dark step thing, like, yeah, enemies attack faster. So some missions which I thought I could grind super easily actually became a lot harder because the massive groups just kept interrupting me. And also, you know, when she's doing the whole home run thing and you try to like go for this guy, you know, you just want to be careful that like when she's doing it again, like the guy doesn't hit you. So I'm just dodging me. Look at that guy, goes so fast. That can damage you. You gotta be careful for that. So yeah, pretty much I don't know what I do is kind of I keep like a somewhat safe distance, go for attack, or like when they're trying to attack me, I like attack quickly so that, you know, we do a little clashing parry thing. And the thing is, you can do this with like every enemy in the game except for the ones who have guns. Like, you know, you can go into a little parry thing, but the time for it's really weird, and most of the time you'll just get hit. So there's really no point in trying to do the slashing thing like intentionally. Like most times it happens by accident. You don't want to deal with it. Anyways, here's one of the attacks that drags the fight out so much. Like the gimps is one thing, but this is an attack that just gets down on the ground and just cries. However, you think she'd be open to attack, but if she has her hand on the bat, like once you try to attack her, it'll be a one-hit KO. So that'll pretty much just end the entire fight right then and there. So instead of attacking her, I wait for her to like finish her little thing, and when she's getting up, that's when I attack because I'm safe there with a little charge attack. Like I don't tend to use the charge attack all that much because I'm just fine doing the combos, but there is a particular boss fight coming up where the charge attacks are super useful. But anyways, I won't talk about that too much here. I'll talk about that when we're there. So yeah. Two attacks which like drag this fight out insanely much. Like, I mean, the two things that drag out this fight a ton are just the gimps here, because you have to deal with them, their whole situation. And thankfully, Bad Girl doesn't get too aggressive with you when you're dealing with the gimps, aside from throwing more gimps at you. She'll just keep her distance, and you know sometimes she'll do a little attack animation. And a funny thing I noticed is that sometimes when I'm dealing with the gimps, she'll like start attacking, but when I start attacking the gimp, she'll just immediately stop doing her combo because I guess she realized there's no point to it. Oh yeah, so as you can see, Bad Girl here is an alcoholic, and I guess that's like one thing. I guess I'm not talking too much story just because, well, I don't really know what I'd add to it because I think there's been a ton of great videos on this game and like pretty much like Suda's games and their stories, mostly by a guy called G. Henry. Like, I'm not sure if that's pronouncing it correctly, but that guy's made like quite a few great videos on No More Heroes, so definitely recommend watching his stuff. He definitely goes like does a deep dive into like the stories and themes of No More Heroes games because, well, these games can be pretty esoteric at points, and to be fair, I don't even know what esoteric means, man. But yeah, these games like stories have like a ton of like hidden themes and all that, and they're just like, well, the first game I think is great. It's like this nice blend of like drama and comedy, and it's just a really fun, unpredictable ride. But yeah, anyways, I guess I'm not gonna get too hard into the story, but I just gotta say, like, these boss fights are just so memorable. Like, I don't know, the only one which I'm not that big on would be like the Magician, just because I don't know, something about his character doesn't really strike me. Even he's memorable. He's got this whole stage presence. I mean, like the stage is cool. Like each of these boss fights like have such a short screen time, but in that short screen time, they just are so memorable. Like the dialogues, like the way Travis interacts with them, like it's all so memorable. Like you have death metal, the way it just sets up the whole game with like him like being like kind of passing the torch to this old guy. And then there's Dr.Peace, who's like this like really calm spoken like cartel type assassin. And then you have like Shinobu, which is like this like whole like cliche like samurais and all that. And you know, she becomes a character somewhat later on in the games, though in 2 she's a little cringe, but I guess I'll talk more about that in 2. And you got Destroyman, who's like this whole parody like superheroes, you know, just like this like perverted ass like killing machine thing. Like, man, that's just dope. And then you got Holly Summers, who's like throwing grenades and all that on the beach, like yo. And also, I don't know, like, Travis, like, and she's also one of the more people who's nicer to like Travis, even though she's trying to kill him with grenades and all that. And then like the way she like just kills herself at the end by having a grenade in her mouth, just like incredibly like just fucked up. Just, you know, I mean, at least like, oh man, like, you know, Travis being all like flirty with her, but then she's actually like an assassin. She kills herself at the end, like what? And you got like Letz Shake, who's just mostly a joke, which, you know, like, all right, cool. And then, you know, he got Speedbuster, who's like, oh, it's a witch, but nah, she just has like a huge ass chicken cannon. Like, all right, cool. And you got Bad Girl here, who's like definitely like one of the most memorable in this game, in a game that's just filled with memorable fights. Just because, like, you know, she got like this whole like, yo, pretty dress, whatever, but she's just like a raging alcoholic. Like, it's just a complete like distortion of expectations. And anyway, so yeah, the things which like drag this fight out is just, well, this attack here, because you can't really attack her when she's doing like her like thing here. However, one thing you got here, man, is that if her hand's on the bat, if she only has one hand on her face and the hand on the bat, that's when you need to watch out. However, sometimes she'll actually cry for real and she'll have both of her hands on her face. At that point, she is completely open to attack, so, you know, feel free to like wail on her. But see there, she only has one hand on her face and one hand on the bat, which means once you get to her, she'll just immediately nay-nay you. So, you know, just watch out for that. You do not want her to deal big booty damage. So here we are fighting Travis's sister, who's the main reason he went to kill so many people. So anyway, this is an insanely tough fight. However, I found a somewhat easy way to deal with it, but it's still quite tough. And I think most of like my luck with it was just, well, luck. Because sometimes it's like there's just so many close calls. Like she has like this thing which Shinobu has, where if you attack her, she'll just dodge most of your attacks. However, like, you know, pretty much she has this opening where, you know, she does that little combo there, and you can pretty much do like normal like combo attacks, but she'll dodge most of them, and sometimes she'll just immediately like go into like another attack to pretty much interrupt you. And there's really like, you know how you can lock onto an enemy to block their attacks? Well, you really shouldn't try that with her, because she has attacks which you will block, but you'll still take damage from. There's this one attack she does where she does like a little flip click. You block it, but you take damage from it, and then she can take that out immediately. So you want to keep solid distance from her. She is just insanely troublesome to deal with. So yeah, me, when I was trying to fight this boss fight by only using my combo attacks, well, that was just no good. However, I found out that your charge attacks actually have a little combo of their own, and I'm not sure if like that combo comes from the combo upgrade things you do, because I don't know, maybe if you didn't upgrade your combos, you can only do the charge attack once, which wouldn't be that useful. But it would still be useful, because the great thing about the charge attacks is that they have iframes. And the great thing about me having this like 3-hit combo is that that also has iframes and deals a ton of damage. So instead of fighting this like chick normally by like doing normal combos, I wait for her to like do like that big punchy attack she does. At that point, that's extremely useful to like charge up my attacks. However, sometimes I kind of missed the mark like there where I didn't do it. Like most of the time when she does that little like dodge thing, she'll go into this normal attack, which means I should do the charge attack. However, sometimes she'll do something else, like she'll start charging up like her big super attack where she just hones in on you, and she has 3 phases. Like, you know, there was the first phase where every time she does the charge attack she does just hones in on you once. You can manage with that. And then there's their second phase where it charges on you like twice. You can manage that too. It's the third phase that's extremely like difficult to predict, because she can charge on you 3 times. You know, 1 time is good, 2 times is good, but 3 times it might be nearly impossible to dodge. But for some reason I just dodge it every time by accident. Like, I don't know, I guess like my iframes just lined up like with the stars in the sky and just like perfect. However, sometimes I can use the charge attack and abuse the iframes the charge attack has, which also interrupts that attack she does, to pretty much just avoid that. However, the way Adrian like VG did it was every time she was about to do it, he would attack her, which would pretty much make her dodge, interrupting that attack. And he pretty much just keep doing that until she did a different attack. However, I could not deal with that. So I pretty much just did this thing because I guess, well, I have upgrades, so I'm able to do it. But yeah, pretty much like, I mean, was a charge attack, this fight became a lot shorter, which to be fair, even in general, this fight is one of the shorter ones, but it's also like one of the most taxing ones in the game. Just because it doesn't take 10 minutes like Bad Girl does not mean it's easier. It's much harder, just because it's such a fast-paced fight. She just keeps going, and there's like very little time to charge up your beam katana. Like here's like the charge attacks are amazing, but here's a little issue with them. They take out a ton of your battery, so it's not something you want to pull out like immediately. You want to make sure you have full battery in like your lightsaber here and your beam katana, you know, if you want to call it that. You know, it's a lightsaber, dog. Okay, so anyways, so yeah, like, I mean, you want to have full battery in your lightsaber, because that pretty much like 3-hit like charge attack combo will deplete that entire thing to like its last 3 bars. So if you're like a half of your charge and you do it, something really unfortunate will happen where you'll do your combo. Like, okay, you'll do your combo, but then like you'll run out of battery, and like the last hit of your combo will just like bounce off of her, which then she will immediately attack you, and then pretty much ruin your no damage. You always gotta have full battery just so you can immediately dodge after you're done with that. Anyways, you might think I took damage here, but no, this anime girl actually protected me from taking damage. And look at that, Henry just immediately attacked you. Anyways, here is Henry, and this is the fight where the dark step thing just got insanely glitched out. And the thing is that it is actually a common glitch. Apparently, if you save right before this fight, sometimes the dark step won't work, and you'll pretty much just have to like return to Santa Destroy, do like one of the assassination missions, dark step there, and then it'll be like fixed. But here, this is like one of those fights. This is like the only fight where I have to use the right stick to like actually do the dark step. So I actually have to time this. I have to know the timings, dude. It's so hard. But the great thing about doing the dark step with the left stick is that it like always works out. There's never a point where like, you know, you mess it up. Like, I mean, with the other boss fights, attacks you could like actually dark step out of, you know, it always works. But you know, the thing about timing it with the right stick is that if you time it wrong, you'll just do a regular dodge, which to be fair isn't that detrimental in this fight specifically, because if I do the normal dodge, instead of exploiting like his dark step opening, I'll just exploit the ending of his attack. But you know, I'll deal like less damage, but I'm still dealing damage. So you know, like, I mean, if I miss the dark step, I'll just move on and like just exploit like his opening like right there, because you can't block that entire attack. He'll like the end of that combo, he glows yellow and just like destroys you. Yeah, this dude's combos are insanely fast, as you can see, but there is a way to deal with that. So pretty much the way I figured out this like dark step like timing is that once he like deals his second hit, like immediately like dodge, you know, like ching ching boom, like just like hit the right stick to the right and then go into the slow-mo thing. However, it's extremely frustrating when you actually land the dark step, but then the game's glitched out, so you don't do the slow-mo effect, which means you're just screwed. So it's like, man, come on. So yeah, pretty much like, this fight just has so many moves to screw you over, but it's a pretty like It's a pretty like, you know, basic fight once you like understand where it's going on. However, this guy has the longest health bar in the game. This fight took me 12 minutes, which isn't the worst thing I've had to experience. And at least this fight has a lot more variety than like that 30-minute fight in Kuruhyo. Like the secret final boss is so ass. At least this fight's dope as hell and has like a ton of things to watch out for. But yeah, anyways, like so pretty much like, I don't know, the way I deal with this fight is that I wait for like him to do like a big showy attack, like the, you know, one with like the flashing yellow, and then I'll exploit that. However, once like he like retaliates against my attack, he's bound to go into like that super combo, and that super combo I can like pretty much dark step like after he does the second hit. So I pretty much just dark step that, and then like from there the fight can go in like two directions. One, he can like, if he does that super fast combo, like if he does that super fast counter, that means that he's gonna go into like the big super like combo attack. You know, if he does that, just be prepared to like dark step again. However, sometimes he'll do a slower counter, and that's when he's planning something different. That's when he gets scary. What you want to do is slowly move away from him, and then once you see what he's gonna do, dodge, because okay, he has this annoying ass attack where he'll just immediately like bum rush you. He'll just go straight across the map to stab you, and that attack is super scary. Like a reason that I'm like running in circles here is because like that's pretty much one way to dodge that attack, is like it comes out insanely fast. And you just like, if you run in circles, at least he'll just like run past you. But if you like stand still, that's when he gets you. And to be fair, running in circles is a pretty good idea for most boss fights. But yeah, like, I mean, he just has quite a few attacks where he's running in circles, just a great way to dodge it. You know, sometimes he'll shoot projectiles at you, which isn't all that hard to deal with. Yeah, like if he does like that, just like watch out, he's planning something else. And sometimes like he'll be graceful and like dodge away, but sometimes he'll just immediately go into another attack. And another attack he does, which like, to be fair, like I mean most times is like pretty stupid and exploitable, is that he'll just stand still and just do like a wah wah, like 2 hits. However, if he's extremely close to you, you can't block that, so he'll just catch you off guard. But sometimes when he's really far away, he'll do it, and that leaves him open. It leaves him quite open for a lot of times. So, you know, you can like exploit that. But see, when he does that, get away from him immediately. Oh, I do not like when he runs towards you, because sometimes he'll do like this combo, which isn't too hard to do, but sometimes he'll do one of those attacks you can't block, like that dumb little 2-hitter. If he runs towards you and you just stand there, you'll just like take it like a little baby. And sometimes when he's running towards you, he'll do like that attack where he like bum rushes you just like straight across the map. And the worst part about that is that when he bum rushes you and he's like close to you, you slow down. So I have to like immediately dodge just to like get some momentum back into my life, because like, oh man, because you know sometimes, you know, like running in circles, like once you're slowed down, doesn't work anymore, because it becomes a lot faster and he covers a lot more like area than he used to. So it's gonna be like, man, come on. Oh yeah, this is a great thing you can do. I'm not sure if you can loop the entire fight like this, but sometimes when you go into dark step and you combo him, but you don't finish your combo to the point where he like parries you, you know, if you just combo him and let him like stagger for a little bit, like once the like dark step is done, if you attack him again, he's bound to go into his fast combo again. So I'm not sure if this is possible, but maybe it is. Maybe you can like attack like Henry here, like a dark step mode, you know, like not stop attacking him after a little while, wait for him to like, you know, be staggering around like whoa, 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 then hit him again for him to like counter, and then just like dark step like his combo there. If you can like repeat that over and over and over, and with the infinite battery upgrade, you definitely can do that. But I mean, it would be possible. If the infinite combo is possible, then the infinite battery would allow you to do. Okay, here's his one hitter attack. Like this is pretty much the attack where if it hits you, it's a one-hit KO, and with a fight like this long, you definitely want to avoid it. But it's really easy to avoid. Just run in a circle, like with most of his other dangerous attacks. So yeah, like this fight is 12 minutes, and it's pretty much just that. However, thankfully, like when I'm doing my dark step attacks, I use my heavy like sword combos, which means a lot of wrestling moves come out super fast, and the wrestling moves, you know, deal big damage. But with a fight like this, I mean, big damage is subjective, but still, it's like relatively like, you know, pretty big damage, and you want all the damage you can get when, you know, the fight's 12 minutes long. However, yo, you listen to this music though? No, because the sound design made the attacks and like Henry screams way louder, but this music is amazing. Like, you know, More Heroes has some amazing ass music. Like I say, the best music is probably in the second game, but still, this game is just has a fantastic soundtrack, and this final boss and this boss fight theme is probably like my favorite out of like the ones in this game. It is such a climactic, awesome little guitar riff. It's called "We Are Finally Cowboys." Definitely go listen to it, because in this game it sounds like awesome, but like it's just blocked out by all the sound effects. You definitely want to listen to that on your own, isolated, because it's such an amazing theme. Like, oh, that's the attack I was talking about, where it looks kind of stupid when he does it by himself, but when he's close to you, it is extremely dangerous. You just want to watch out. Oh yeah, one thing I really like about this game is that like when you're hitting the enemy and you're locked on, it'll tell you how many times you hit him. So you know, as you see there, like so far I've hit him 241 times. However, one funny thing is that in the Jeane fight, you know, the Jeane was the name of the boss fight of like the chick who you do charge attacks against. Like I don't know, there weren't that many hits that fight just because I was doing the charge attacks. But those charge attacks deal so much damage, so it's like, you know. Also, guys, I love how this game looks. Like the harsh shadows, like, you know, the bright blue skies in the open world. Like this game has a fantastic visual style. Like it's aged incredibly well. Like, I mean, the second game goes for a more cartoony style, which still looked great. But like, I just love how this game looks. It's such a like good-looking game. I just love how it looks. And I don't know, like I was looking at footage of No More Heroes 3, and I don't know if I'm feeling the art style so much in that one. I don't know, something about it just looks a little off. Like, I mean, like the particle effects during like your combo attacks and all like the camera swinging between your wrestling moves, like that looks dope. But I don't know, the visual style isn't really speaking to me. It looks a little fugly. Oh yeah, I will say one hilarious thing about this fight. You know, I had to do this fight a ton of times. It took me like 2, 3, 4, 5 hours to like complete over the course of a very long day. So it's like, oh man. However, one thing I noticed that every time this guy like kills you, like once he hits you, like once you're like dead, he just goes into like his default stance. So it'll be really fun because he's doing this like elaborate ass animation. Then like once he immediately kills you, just stops. Like there'll be like the afterglow of like his like sword and all that, but then like he'll just like immediately just like be standing still. However, I deleted that footage because I realized something, that holding on to all my failed attempts takes a ton of memory, especially when I'm recording like this at 1080p, like, you know, the best quality on the Elgato, even though the best quality is not 60 FPS, man. I'm not gonna shell out that much money just to buy the 60 FPS version of this. I'm just happy that at least it records the PSP games at 60 FPS, because, you know, those games aren't exactly all that high res, so at the very least they can run at 60 FPS. At least I can record footage of them at 60 FPS, you know, on their native hardware, which is very nice. I don't know, because I guess I'll talk about that more in a Kurukio video. But anyway, so yeah, Henry, I mean, I think I pretty much already talked about most of what there is to talk about this guy. I don't know, I guess I could like reiterate like the point that this guy's inserted a little weirdly into the game. He just kind of shows up at the end, but, you know, like he's like a cool little like end game boss fight, you know, like dope. And oh yeah, one weird thing about the difference between the Wii game and the Switch is that I could have sworn that you had to buy a certain upgrade in order to fight this guy on the Wii. And, yo, maybe I already did buy that upgrade, but I could have sworn it was like the upgrade for infinite battery you had to buy to like fight this game with this guy on the Wii. I don't know, like what upgrade did you need to buy to like fight this guy on the Wii? Because I remember it being something really expensive. Because when I first played this game on the Wii, I beat it twice there. I beat it on mild and then bitter. Is that when I beat it on mild, like I accidentally chose the option to watch, you know, the fake ending, and then I got like locked out of like actually playing like the game to watch the real ending. So I had to repeat my entire playthrough again on bitter. But hey, at the very least I got to fight Henry on bitter, so, you know, that's cool. Yeah, that just kind of like, it caught me by surprise. I'm like, oh, what? There's a fake ending? Hey, let me go watch it then. But that was just a huge mistake. But at the very least, they gave me the option to like have the credits be Dr.Peace's song. You know, he's a great singer, so, you know, at the very least I got to experience that more melancholic song. Because if you fight Henry, you get this like kick-ass like credits theme. But hey, I do like the kind of sadder like song when you like watch the ending that's fake. And the ending that's fake is like, you know, pretty neat, because the Travis just gets like killed just because he's the #1 assassin, so people start coming after him while he's like taking a poop. But Henry here just kind of interrupts. So I will say like the ending with Henry is hilarious. It's just that he just comes out of nowhere. However, there is like a neat little theory I have on him where he might have been the guy who was like doing all those like voicemails things at the end, because they kind of have a bit of a similar voice. The guy who like keeps telling you, oh, you need to pay this much money. He kind of sounds similar. It might have been him just to like screw with Travis, but I don't know. It's not like any of that's confirmed. That's just like my little like headcanon per se. But yeah, this is like a great culmination boss fight, though I will say I think Jeane's a pretty great final boss fight too. Like she has the 3 phases and all that. Like Henry definitely feels a lot more like a Joe Amon situation, which is kind of something they kind of threw together for the final fight. Though this guy definitely has a bit more effort going on because he actually has new attacks and all that. And here we are so close to finishing this by 400, 500, 400, 600. I'm trying to count how many hits I've hit him with. Okay, this attack where he charges his beam katana is really useful because it gives me time to charge my beam katana. And, you know, that's just one little thing I wanted to add to the fight, just me charging my beam katana. Oh, 400, 300. I'm trying to count my hits. How many times I've hit this guy? Like 417, 418. I don't know, man. Let's see. Here we go. So yeah, that attack like useful to for me to charge my attack, but there's no real like good way to retaliate against it. Like I mean, you could just like hit him and then retaliate immediately after that, but like it doesn't always like work. Sometimes you'll just 423 hits I believe that took, but I did low attack. So anyways, yeah, that's my video on No More Heroes. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little departure from Yakuza. I did say not to expect a video, but the only reason I said that was because I wasn't sure if I would be able to complete this challenge before Yakuza 7 comes out, because once Yakuza 7 comes out, I'm going to be pouring all my time into that, and also because college is getting hard. I actually have to do homework now. But yeah, I just wanted to release this little video just because No More Heroes came out on the Switch and I just played it and I'm just having a great time. So yeah, I've beaten this game about 4 times now. However, No More Heroes 2 I've only beaten once. I wouldn't expect a No More Heroes 2 video because I'm definitely going to be focusing on no damaging Yakuza 7 or Yakuza Like a Dragon. So yeah, I'll see you all for that. And I don't know, that's going to take a little while because I'm actually going to be playing the whole game. Alright, peace out.